Hey everyone, my name's EarthToLydia and welcome back to another Should You Buy episode. Today we're going to be going over Nancy Wheeler from the Stranger Things DLC. Don't worry, I will be doing a Steve one to follow up in the future. He's not going to feature in this one though. Today we are strictly going over Nancy. Now for anybody that hasn't seen one of these types of videos before, I'm going to be going over the basic character model, the character's teachable perks, and also what playstyle I think they will be most suited towards. Then hopefully at the end of this, that will be able to give you a well-rounded picture and help you decide whether or not this is a character for you. Of course, this is just all my opinion, but hopefully this helps some of you out there that are newer to the game. Before we get into it, I just want to say I am a full-time Dead by Daylight streamer over on Twitch, so if you want to ask me some more one-to-one and informed questions, you can do so over there at twitch.tv/EarthToLydia. Alright, anyway, let's get into it. First of all, like I said, going over Nancy's character model. Now, Nancy is definitely one of the most petite character models in the game. She's very small, like a lot of the other females, but just all-round smaller as well. Her default cosmetics do stand out a little bit more as she has a bright white sweatshirt, which makes it a little bit more difficult for her to blend in. Also, when she's in pain, her voice is kind of shrill, so she's not the easiest to hide as. However, she's not as loud as other females like Elodie or a couple of others. I actually found when it comes to Nancy, she's a bit hit or miss. So like I said, she has brighter clothing that actually helps her to hide more on maps like Mount Ormond, which are really bright, but will hinder her on other maps such as the Swamp. She does, however, have a few cosmetics in the store, but again, most of her shirts are brightly coloured. Anyway, next we are going on to her teachable perks. So at level 30 in the Blood Web, we will unlock Better Together. I actually think that this is a criminally underrated solo queue perk. So it kind of works in the same way that Kindred does, but for gens. And I love using this perk when I get the daily to perform cooperative actions for 3 minutes, because rather than having to equip perks to try and seek out other survivors, they'll come to you. And again, the same with solo queue. If you're not communicating with other survivors, then this perk will tell them to come over to you. What it does is the aura of the generator that you're currently repairing is revealed to other survivors that are in a 32-meter radius. And also, if the killer downs a survivor while you're repairing a gen, you see auras of all the other survivors for up to 10 seconds. So that can be a really, really good information perk for you and your teammates as well. And unlike Kindred, it actually helps you when you're doing the objective as well, and when you're trying to survive, rather than when you're already downed and hooked. So I genuinely do think this is one of Nancy's better perks, and I would highly recommend investing in it, especially if you play alone. Next, at level 35, we unlock Fixated. So when you have a goal in mind, there's no turning back. Better to ask for forgiveness than permission. You can see your own scratch marks at all times and walk up to 20% faster when uninjured. It's also worth noting as well that this is going to be getting a buff with the mid-chapter patch to make it so that you don't actually lose that haste status when you're uninjured either. You're going to keep it while injured. So this can be pretty good to people that are newer to the game, and also more experienced players who want to play around the scratch marks. Maybe if you're pairing this with Iron Will and you're trying to throw off the killer, or if you're using it with perks like Deception. It's good to know where your scratch marks actually end up. And of course, having the extra speed boost while walking is always going to be beneficial, and can be the difference between you sneaking around a corner and not being seen by the killer, and of course actually getting caught before you can make a getaway. I'd say this is another good one for players of all levels. Finally, at level 40, we unlock Inner Strength. Now, this perk really is a difficult one for me, because it is very easily misused. So what happens is each time you cleanse a totem, Inner Strength will activate, and while activated, when you hide in a locker, it will take up to 10 seconds to heal from the injured state, either to full health, or if you're in deep wound, then it will get you out of the deep wound state. Either way, it automatically heals 1 health state, and Inner Strength doesn't activate if you're affected by the broken status effect. So on paper, this seems like a really, really attractive perk, but I actually think this is way more suited to people who are very experienced in the game, unlike Nancy's other perks. And the reason that I say that is because this is one of those perks where it's very easy to let it dictate your entire game. I remember when the Stranger Things chapter first came out, everybody was running Inner Strength, and everybody was running across the whole map fighting for totems. You'd get sandbagged if you were cleansing a dull totem because somebody else wanted to cleanse it, and you'd also have so many survivors wandering around maps where they don't know where the totem spawns are, spending several minutes just trying to find a totem to make sure that it gets activated. You actually need to use this perk way more passively. If you let it dictate your entire game, there is so much time that is wasted that could be spent either doing gens or any other part of the objective, and also you can massively misuse this perk. Although on paper you can use this perk up to 5 times per game, realistically you're probably only going to get 2 or 3 uses out of it at max. And I would say that the people that run this should be those that have a good idea of where totem spawns are on the majority of maps. That way you can quickly get to an area of the map, locate the totem in that area, and then have it ready for later on. Either that or when your teammates really need you, you can quickly get to a totem, cleanse it, and then hop in a locker and get yourself full health. A lot of people will argue that you can use this to counter perks like Nurse's Calling, Sloppy Butcher, etc, etc. However, a lot of the people that use that argument often aren't taking into consideration the amount of time that it takes to find a totem, to cleanse the totem, to then find a locker, and then to heal yourself. So in most cases, getting healed by a teammate or healing yourself with a medkit will be more beneficial. You should really save this for when you absolutely need to use it and don't have any other way of getting healed. So please, if you're going to run inner strength, use it cautiously, use it sparingly, and use it when you need it. Do not let it dictate your entire game for you. And so that leads us into what playstyle is she most suited for? Nancy's a bit of a strange one actually, because she's a bit of a mix of all different levels. I would say that although you can get some good use out of Better Together and Fixated at maybe all ranks, you should probably wait until you have a little bit more game knowledge and a little bit more of awareness of yourself, your teammates, and the killers, as well as where other items spawn on the map before you can confidently use all of her perks, and also be completely comfortable with her character model. Anyway, I really hope that this has managed to help some of you if you were debating whether or not to buy Nancy. Like I said, I will be doing a follow-up with Steve as well, so you can really get the best knowledge out of the Stranger Things chapter, and I hope that you guys like these types of videos. If you do, please let me know in the comments. Also, if you want to give me other suggestions as to who else you would like to see videos like this on, then you can do so in the comments as well. As I mentioned earlier, I stream over on Twitch, and the link to that as well as everything else from my Twitter to my Discord server are all linked in the description box. And also, if you'd consider subscribing, I would really appreciate it. We're trying to reach 10k this year and it's so close. Anyway, thank you all so much again for making it this far into the video, and until next time, take care. See you guys.